Today, we're diving into a brand new AI model called Chai-1. And, it's tackling one of the absolute biggest challenges in all of biology, figuring out the exact intricate shapes of the molecules that basically run our bodies. If we can get this right, it could completely change how we develop new medicines and even how we understand disease itself. So, let's see how it works.
So here's the plan. First, we'll get into why seeing the molecular world is such an incredible challenge to begin with. Then we'll introduce Chai-1 and see how it really stacks up against the heavyweights. And finally, we'll look at what a tool like this means for the future of medicine, and maybe most importantly, why making it open source changes everything.
At its very core, biology is all about physical shapes. I mean, to really understand how life works, and more importantly, how diseases break it, we have to be able to see the 3D structure of molecules. It's like trying to solve a massive, constantly shifting jigsaw puzzle that's completely invisible.
Just think about proteins for a second. They are these tiny, incredibly complex machines doing literally all the heavy lifting in our bodies. They carry oxygen, they digest our food, they fight off infections, and the key is their specific 3D shape is what determines their job. So if you want to design a drug to fix a broken protein, well, you're going to need its blueprint first.
Right, so how in the world do we see these invisible machines? For decades, it was this slow, painstaking, and super expensive process you had to do in a lab. But now, AI is learning to predict these shapes right from the genetic code, and with, frankly, stunning accuracy. And that brings us to our main event. So let's meet Chai-1. It was developed by a group called Chai Discovery, and this new AI is designed specifically to solve that molecular puzzle. But it's not just another prediction tool. It has a few really unique tricks up its sleeve. Okay, so Chai-1 is what's called a foundation model. You can think of it like the large language models that power chatbots, right? It's been trained on just a massive data set of biological structures, which makes it incredibly flexible. It's also multimodal, which is a fancy way of saying it understands the different languages of biology: proteins, DNA, RNA, and even the small molecules we use as drugs, called ligands, all at the same time in one model. So Chai-1 really has three superpowers. First, there's that multimodal prediction we just talked about. Second, it has this unique ability to use real-world lab data as hints, and we'll get into that in a second. And third, it has a really powerful single-sequence mode that can make predictions super fast without needing tons of other data. And this right here, this is that second superpower in action. It's so cool. On the left, you've got a pure prediction, just the AI doing its thing. But on the right, you can give the AI a little hint from a real lab experiment. Chai-1 can actually take data that measures distances between parts of molecules and use that info to lock in the correct structure with way more confidence. It's like giving it a cheat sheet. So the big question is, how well does it actually work? I mean, having great features is one thing, but performance is what really counts. So the Chai-1 team put it head-to-head against some of the other top models out there. First up, let's look at protein-ligand prediction. This is basically asking how well can the model predict the exact way a drug molecule will bind to a protein. It's crucial for drug discovery. And look at this. On a standard benchmark, Chai-1 hits a 77% success rate. That puts it right at the top, neck and neck with the best models out there, like DeepMind's AlphaFold3. Okay, next up, protein-protein interactions. This is a whole other level of complexity, figuring out how the different machines in our cells all work together. And here, Chai-1 scores just over 75%, which is a really significant jump over the previous version of AlphaFold. But this is where things get really impressive. When it comes to predicting how antibodies work, the results are amazing. Antibodies are a huge class of modern drugs, but predicting how they bind is notoriously difficult. And here, Chai-1 shows a commanding lead, beating AlphaFold 2.3 by almost 15 percentage points. That is a massive leap forward for designing new therapies. And hey, remember those expert hints we talked about? This is where they become a total game changer. For that really tough antibody prediction task, the baseline success rate is about 35%. But if you give Chai-1 just one piece of experimental data, that success rate jumps all the way to 57%. That just shows you how powerful it is to combine AI prediction with real-world lab results. So these numbers are obviously impressive, but what do they really mean for scientists on the ground or for patients? How does all this computational power actually translate into new cures? Well, it means we can speed up the very early stages of drug discovery because we can better predict which molecules are actually likely to work. It helps scientists engineer more effective antibody treatments, and it opens up totally new possibilities in things like protein engineering and supports cutting-edge tech like gene editing and RNA therapies.
And to see this in action, the researchers used Chai-1 to model a key part of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. By getting an accurate prediction of the structure of the virus's machinery, we can start designing drugs to shut it down. This is exactly the kind of real-world medical problem Chai-1 is built to help solve.
And that brings us to what might be the most crucial part of this whole story. It's not just about the technology itself, but about who actually gets to use it. But first, a moment of honesty. No AI model is perfect, right? The team is very upfront that Chai-1 has some known limitations, like a cap on the size of the molecules it can analyze. And while its fast mode is awesome for predicting complexes, it's not quite as accurate for single proteins. Being transparent about this stuff is just good science. And this is the key difference maker. A lot of these advanced AI models have really tight restrictions on their use, especially if you're a company trying to make a drug. Well, the creators of Chai-1 did something totally different. They've made the model available online for free for everybody, including companies. This completely democratizes access to this incredible technology for the entire scientific community. And that really leaves us with a powerful question, doesn't it? The ability to see the machinery of life with this kind of accuracy and speed is a true game changer. So, now that this power is available to the entire global scientific community, you have to wonder, what disease will we decode next?